Okay, a very quick video about my recent repair. It's going to be a very short video because I have totally forgot to shot the entire repair process and the diagnostic process. So this is a 2018 13-inch MacBook Pro Touch Bar Logic board which came in dead, which had a very bad liquid spill and it stopped working. So as always, it had a short on 13-volt line. So upon discovering, it was showing about 7 ohms to ground on PP bus, which is about 13.1 volts. So when I noticed, if you can see this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these 6 parts here. So these 6 parts are called CPU MOSFETs. And one of the this MOSFET had a very bad liquid spill, due to which the bottom pads, about 3 pads, have completely eaten up by corrosion. Let me just show you under the microscope. I'll show you the repaired pads. So if you can see a tiny green stuff under the top MOSFET. So it is called the solder mask, which is usually in green in color. So once we apply it, we put a little bit of UV light so that it hardens. So the main purpose of using this mask is insulate the open connections. So the topmost pads were eaten up by corrosion on this particular MOSFET. So the moment I removed, 3 of the pads were missing, and thankfully out of those 3 pads, one was NC, which is not connected, and 2 of the pads were rerouting to each other, so that doesn't really affect the performance of the motherboard. So this was the one. And the second one, even you can see the corroded display cable connector here, this one, and there was a lot of corrosion this side. I'll just show you under the microscope, 1 second. The tiny wire you can see, which I have reworked on, that's for the display connector. This has also came in with an issue of display not working. So this liquid spill might be a little older one, because this doesn't seem to be the recent one. So the display was not working, the keyboard trackpad, and most importantly, the moment I said keyboard trackpad, I just realized this is the keyboard connector and this is the trackpad connector. So both of those connectors were damaged. So if you can see a little abnormality this side, 4 of the pins here, and this complete connector was destroyed with liquid. I'll just show you under the microscope. Here you go. You can see bottom left 4 pads, they were damaged due to liquid, so I just reworked it. This is the trackpad connector. And coming to the keyboard connector, so this is the keyboard connector, which the keyboard flex goes and sits for the keyboard operations. So this entire connector has been replaced. You can see the rework done on it. Since this is not the I am not the factory person here, so my only intention here is to replace the connector and make sure that all the 40 pins soldered solidly to its pads beneath. So you can see the rework done. So this connector has been replaced. So all the rework was done. So before the work was done, it was stuck at 5 volts at 0 amp draw. So that is a typical cause of PP bus G3H, which is about 13.1 volts. This is the main high voltage power line on a MacBook Logic board. So any issue around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this area, this is a very sensitive area. This is the power supply unit of the CPU and the PCH, which is beneath this heatsink. Most of the time, damage done to this side directly affects the CPU. So 99% of the time it is not fixable. But somehow this client has been lucky. In spite of 3 pads missing underneath this MOSFET here, this is a very important MOSFET. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All 6 are very important MOSFET for the CPU functionality. So in spite of losing 3 pads, thankfully those 3 pads are not that important for this MOSFET. So we could actually get this entire logic board back to life. And we have also got the MacBook up and running. So I will put this motherboard back in the casing and I will show you from there. So before putting in the casing, I just wanted to check what is the power and amp draw it's taking. Let's just test. Yeah, went in. 5 volts, 22 milliamps, 20 volts, 19, 18, it will come back to again 10-20 milliamps, because this is a T2 model, and this model has to be connected to the keyboard, trackpad and the battery to boot. See, it has come back to 450 milliamps. So once the keyboard, trackpad, battery, everything is connected, it will boot up to 1 amp plus. So let's get back, put this board back in the casing and get back from there. 20 volts, 400 milliamps, 450 milliamps. So the complete MacBook assembly is done. So everything is connected: display, trackpad, keyboard, speaker, ports, touch ID, everything is connected. So let's go ahead and put power into it. The moment we connect, 5 volts, 14, I can see the trackpad clicking already. 20 volts, 500, 1 amp, fans are spinning. I can hear the chime. So for privacy reasons, let's close this thing. It charges, trackpad works, keyboard backlight works, keyboard works. So let's pull the charger out and see if it is staying on the battery. 1, 2, 3, it's pulled out. No longer power is connected, and yes, it is running over the battery too. So for security reasons, for privacy reasons, let's just cover the client's name. So we go A1989 2018 13-inch MacBook Pro, heavily liquid damaged, fixed, up and running. Whereas Apple would have charged the client for the entire top case and the board replacement. Just with the motherboard repair, this thing has been up and running. So that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much. Until the next time, see you.